few keys in its computer for it to legally put a sum in your account because you have committed either your assets or your income to paying that back. Does that make sense? So a bank has a license to create debt, not money. Banking interest. Okay, it's not all bad news, right? Positives. Creates wealth. Yeah, you could say that actually. If you look over the last 10 years, there are still some winners out there. They tend to be in a small proportion of society though. It minimises risk. It minimises risk for who? For the banks. Right? Do banks take risk? Not really. Tax revenue. From the government's perspective, especially the UK government's perspective, tax revenue off the back of financial services is huge. And that's where big business affects politics. I'll give you an example. Part of the work I do as a specialist tax consultant to actually help wealthy people avoid tax. So this is just like, two sides of the coin. And the laws in the UK were such they allowed the concept of domicile to be used in order for people who had an opportunity to consider elsewhere as their home. I'll give you an example. Me. My parents are from India. So I could quite legally change my domicile to India. It wouldn't change anything to me on the ground. I'd still have a UK passport. But ultimately, my domicile, I would see as India. Now, domicile, and that would offer certain tax benefits as well. I won't go hugely into this because tax definitely is a cure for insomnia. Yeah? But ultimately, the issue of domicile meant that banks were threatening to leave the UK. Saying that if you change the domicile laws, it means that our wealthy clients will want to go elsewhere. And if they want to go elsewhere, we want to go elsewhere. So you better stop that. Why? And is there a conflict of interest there? I think so. If a government is so heavily reliant on income from a particular industry that it is unwilling to do the right thing by its people, it's problematic, but maybe I'm just being a bit idealistic. Increases home ownership. Well, it has done that. Or has it really? Or has it just increased indebtedness? Okay, that was obvious, wasn't it? The negatives are going to be a bit bigger. Okay, reduces government spend. Yeah, how much of the national income has to go towards paying interest payments? A huge proportion. The government debt is increasing all the time and exponentially. It's not a debt bubble, it's a debt balloon. Perpetuates haves and have-nots. We'll go into that a little bit further, but basically, if you have something for the bank to lend against, they'll provide you with the money. If you don't, they won't. Fuels artificial asset price growth. Well, the housing bubble's kind of been that. The prevalence of capital has meant that more and more people are on the housing ladder, people who perhaps shouldn't be. It's related to income levels also, and there is interest on the principal amount, and all of this increases the asset price value or growth. Banks disproportionately influence industry. Let's move forward 10 years in the UK when the National Health Service is completely privatised. And a site comes up for sale, and two private organisations are bidding over this. Yeah? One's a casino, one wishes to open a private hospital. Who's the bank going to favour? Casino? Who's the bank going to favour? Definitely casino? Well, it depends on who's most profitable. That's how they influence industry. Society becomes risk averse. If I said to all of you now, the money in your bank is invested, it's not deposited. There's a chance you might lose it. How do you react? Stick under the bed. Sorry.
It's insured.
It's insured. Okay, so deposits are insured, and we're quite happy with that, aren't we? Yeah, we're quite happy with that. They look after our money, don't they? But actually, they use our money in order to help industrialists make a huge amount of money. Why aren't we entitled to a piece of that action? If I said to you, take a little bit of risk and look for a little bit more gain, maybe things might change, but you see, our mentality is such that we want security with our money. We're happy being the little guy. Banking power is undemocratic and disproportionate. Bank controls money, not government. Creates a system of perpetual growth. This is the point where we'll play our game. Who'd like to be a banker? Excellent. Your name?
Alejandro.
Alejandro.
Yeah.
Okay, Alejandro. Is there a short version? Alex. Okay. Sorry. Okay, and do you have an assistant? An assistant, somebody to help you, just to make sure the figures are right. Okay. The rest of you are industrialists. Yeah? And maybe private homeowners. So, somebody running a business, tell us a little bit about your business and how much money you want. I'm not going to talk until somebody else does.
I want to set up a restaurant. I need £40,000.
Okay, so chap is an entrepreneur. Sorry, your name?
Osama.
Osama is an entrepreneur, wishes to set up a restaurant. Are you willing to offer him 40,000?
Of course, for an interest in return.
Interest in return.
Yeah.
Is that the first question you'd ask him?
And the risk. Depending on the risk.
The risk.
Yeah.
Actually, the first question that you'd ask him is, okay, what can you secure it against? It doesn't really matter what you want it for, right? So do you have property? Do you have something, some collateral to?
A house.
A house. You willing to take this house for security? Okay. So you've got your 40,000, yeah? Okay, so if you can make a note of that, 40,000. Who else? Anybody at the back? Let's call it $1 million, yeah? Otherwise it doesn't work with my example. So he's lend $1 million. Somebody else must have... Doesn't anybody here aspire to run a business? Are you all basically going to walk into some job at the patent office or whatever else it is people from Oxford do? Yes, sir?
Pharmaceutical company.
Oh, excellent.
We have a patent.
Oh, you have a patent?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
For a tuberculosis drug.
TB drug, yeah? That sounds quite realistic, actually. Hope you have that patent. Okay, so are you willing to lend him some money? How much is it you require? Can't do it in the millions.
Seed money at least 11 million.
11 million.
That's just seed money.
Okay. First round funding.
Yes.
First round funding, 11 million. Alex, what do you reckon?
Same. Does he have something to buy?
So you're a student at Oxford. Yeah?
Just a team of scientists and MBAs getting together to start a spin-out. You don't have much security.
Yeah, I forget all of that. Do you have any property? See, this is what banking's like. They don't care. Okay, do you have any property?
My parents have property.
Okay, fine. Would you accept his parents' property? Yeah, okay. Would you sign off the property? Yeah, if you had to get a power of attorney over their assets and sign it off? Okay, great. So you've got your 11 million. So in total we have 12 million.
It's a very big house.
It's a very big house. It's not far from here. Okay, anybody else? Miriam? You don't get away with it because you're the chair. What would you like? Huh? If you had an opportunity to have money, what would you start? Start thinking, guys. What would you like? Yes?
Solar energy services.
Solar energy services. Excellent. Yeah, seems to be a good market, a good spin for the corporate, I think. Yeah. What do we think?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Can we see the trend? Doesn't matter what idea you have. What do you have to back it up? Why should we give you the money? You need some assets. Solar energy. Okay, so I hear that Bulgaria's good for that. The EU has a particular quota that they want all European members to fulfill by 2014, which is about 14% to be from renewable. Land in Bulgaria is cheap. Yeah. So you could potentially set up your solar panel farms over there. Does that sound viable? So if I can provide the land, can I have 50% stake in your organisation?
40%.
I need a controlling stake. But then we could do that by the terms of engagement.